Brian the Geek here, and today I want to talk about a video that I made over a year ago predicting what was going to happen with Grogu, what I got right, what I got wrong, based on what we've seen in the Book of Boba Fett. There are going to be major spoilers in this video, so if you have not finished the Book of Boba Fett, go ahead and finish that, and then come back to this video. Or don't, and just be spoiled. It's cool. Just gotta say, represent the child, Grogu, baby Yoda, whatever you want to call it. I predicted and really felt that the heart of The Mandalorian was always going to be Din and Grogu. I just couldn't see it being any other way, and it seems, as of now, that's true, because we didn't even have any of The Mandalorian as a TV show with Din and Grogu separated, because they resolved that plotline in the Book of Boba Fett. And for those of you who don't know, in the finale of the Book of Boba Fett, Grogu decides to not train with Luke anymore. R2-D2 takes him to Tatooine. He reunites with Din, saves the day, and then they go flying off into the sunset, so to speak. They fly off into space, off to new and exciting adventures together. My first prediction was that Grogu and Din were eventually going to get back together, which was true. I didn't think that it would be this quickly. I thought that they were going to kind of give Din a arc with kind of like a dark night of the soul, where he really had to try and figure out who he was without Grogu, figure out, does he still want, Luke to be training him? Is he going to make a decision that, eventually leads him back to Grogu? Like, I thought there would be a whole lot more. We basically got kind of 2 or 1.5 episodes of this storyline of Din going back to a dark place, of Din really struggling with who he was, and was he a Mandalorian, or did he want to be Grogu's father, kind of all of that stuff. Particularly episode 5 of the Book of Boba really delved into, was he a Mandalorian? What's going on with that? We saw him get back to his roots, very brutal. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. And this time he actually brought someone in cold. We saw him really kind of reverting back to his roots. And that is something that I predicted. I predicted that Din would go back to his bounty hunting ways. I didn't necessarily predict that he would go back to the Mandalorian covert, but it makes perfect sense that he'd go back to what he knew, hunt down where they are, try and become back with the only family that he felt like he really had left. I also kind of jokingly predicted that, I didn't think that Disney was going to kill Grogu because he was a super moneymaker, and I didn't think that, he'd be with Luke for super long because they wouldn't kill Grogu when Ben Solo killed the temple. And I kind of jokingly predicted, maybe they'll wipe the sequels from canon. But I think that we've seen actually a lot of nods to the sequel trilogy. I don't think that the sequel trilogy is getting wiped from canon. I think that that is where they're heading, and that all of Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's shows are going to kind of lead us towards that. I did predict that it was going to be until halfway through Mandalorian season 3 or later that Grogu and Din would be separated. I was clearly quite wrong about that, because we're not even into the first episode of The Mandalorian season 3. I could be really charitable with myself and say, the Book of Boba is kind of like Mando season 3. But I'm going to say I got that prediction wrong. I really expect there to be a longer separation between Mando and Grogu. And part of me really wishes that there had been, because I didn't feel kind of the weight of them getting back together the way that I felt the weight of them separating. Like in my older videos, like with my predictions and my review of the finale of the Mandalorian season 2, like my mind was blown. I was messed up for days. I wasn't sure how I felt about Luke anymore for taking Grogu away from Mando. And it was just like, what is going on? This is crazy. And now I'm kind of like, well, that resolved itself really fast. I mean, we had kind of a year to speculate, but as I mentioned in my review of the Book of Boba finale. I feel like for anybody new who's watching, anybody who comes in after this has aired and is like, oh, you know, I want to be introduced to the world of the Mandalorian, now it's not going to feel as epic because you'll be able to, you know, binge watch season 1 of Mando, binge watch season 2 of Mando, and then binge watch Book of Boba. And it's like, oh, that was really short and really quick, rather than having all that time to speculate and breathe and wonder what's gonna happen and stuff. I feel like within the show you need that more. I kind of think of how Doctor Who did it with characters like Rose Tyler, for example. I just finished watching the 4th season of Doctor Who, and not quite binge watching it, but, you know, watching like an episode a day. And we had her leave at the end of season 2, very tragic, very heavy emotional weight. And then we have all of season 3 where the Doctor's kind of mourning her, and then even though he knows she's still alive, he's lost her. And I thought we were going to get something like that with Mando, and then we see like little bits throughout season 4 of like, oh, she's trying to get back. And then so it's a really big moment when she gets back to the Doctor at the end of season 4. And I thought we were going to get something like that with Grogu, where we were going to have him separated from Mando for some length of time, some longer length of time, see Mando kind of mourning the loss of him even though he knows he's okay, and then kind of some hints of, oh, you know, we think they're probably going to get back together, maybe they're trying, maybe there's some challenges, maybe Mando can't find him, or Grogu can't find Mando, or, you know, something like that, or even a longer struggle with, does Grogu want to stay with Luke or not? Thought we were going to get some of that. And then maybe at the end of season 3 or beginning of season 4 or, you know, mid-season 3, whatever they wanted to do, some kind of longer length of time, we were going to get Grogu coming back. So it was kind of like, whoa, that was really quick, and a little bit undermined the emotionality of what happened at the end of Mando season 2. Because I'm going to be honest, I know a lot of people were like crying because Luke was back. I was crying because Grogu and Mando were separating. Like, that's what I cared about. So, you know, that is a little bit weird to me and feels maybe like a little bit of cheapening of the amazing story that we got in Mando season 2. And the final thing that I said that I was 100% right on is I could not see Disney being done with Grogu on screen. I did not think his story was done. Mostly because I had to like soothe my sad self at that point, but I was absolutely right. I did not expect to see him very much, if at all, in the Book of Boba Fett, but he really stole the last 2 episodes of the Book of Boba. So yeah, so that's what I predicted, and so I was kind of like half right, sort of. I really did not expect it to be so quick. I think Mando season 3, the two are going to be together. I can make that prediction with pretty good certainty. I'm not sure if we're going to see more of Luke, if there's kind of going to be a battle within Grogu, if maybe Ahsoka's going to kind of come in, if they're going to have any of that resolved, or if Luke's kind of just poof gone. I'm not really sure kind of how that's going to play out. My hope is that Grogu's going to get some more training, you know, maybe from Ahsoka. Maybe she's going to kind of maybe embrace a little bit more of that role now that she's spent some more time with Grogu and Luke and Din and stuff like that. Maybe she's going to be the one to kind of take on that Legends Luke. You know, maybe attachments aren't so bad kind of thing. I don't know. That's a really wild prediction. I think more realistically, Din is going to go to Mandalore with Grogu, but I'm really excited for The Mandalorian season 3. And although I'm not totally thrilled with exactly how Mando and Grogu ended up connecting again, I am not sad that they connected again, and Grogu in the Naboo Starfighter is amazing. I love that. I'm glad that we got to see that kind of pay off. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like and consider subscribing for more geeky Star Wars content, and I'll catch y'all very soon.